Hey, welcome to The Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life and homeschool you love. I'm Julie Ross, the creator of the award-winning curriculum A Gentle Feast, a homeschool veteran of over 20 years, and a certified Christian life coach. Charlotte Mason said, life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time. So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. So go get your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You're welcome at this table. Hello, welcome to The Feast Life. So have you ever wondered what it's really like to use a gentle feast in your homeschool? Well, today you won't just hear it from me. You're going to hear it straight from the families who are living it out every day. Whether you're brand new to an idea of a Charlotte Mason education or you're wondering if a gentle feast could work for your family, these honest conversations will give you a window into what's possible when learning feels life-giving, flexible, and full of real connection. So grab a cozy drink and let's settle in. I can't wait for you to hear these beautiful stories from such wonderful families. I want to hear from Dana because she is such a beautiful soul.
Thanks, Julie. Hi.
Hi, I'm so glad you're willing to share with us. So don't feel rushed. Again, we have all
That's
the
okay.
time in the world, right?
Of course.
I teach my people. It's all work out. Just take a deep breath because when we feel rushed and stressed, things don't go well. So, Dana, I would
Yeah.
love to hear about your kids and your journey.
Okay. Our journey, I'm Dana, by the way, and I'm in Texas, and I have two 12-year-old twin girls, and then I have a 9 and 7-year-old boys. So I'm teaching 4 kids. And I guess our journey, it started a little different because it was actually my husband that said we had a homeschool. And I was a public school teacher, and I was like, I don't know about that. And so I wasn't on board at first.
Yeah, I think there's probably other people here who had that. Like what?
Because I liked school. I liked being a teacher. I really believed that
Yes. And here's a fun fact for everybody. Dana and I went to the same middle school, and we just figured this out last year at the Texas School Convention. So
at the same time,
everybody, because that's just wild and crazy.
At the same time, we were actually in the same math class. Just crazy. So anyway, in Erie, Pennsylvania, of all places. So here I am in Texas. Yeah, it's so weird, but awesome at the same time. But I was one of those people because I went into teaching. I got my master's in secondary math, science, and technology education. And I really believed that the teacher, an engaged teacher, was going to fix everything. And I believed it in my heart. I believed it in what I did. I taught for several years, 8th grade science, and I loved it. And all that changed when we ended up adopting our girls, and they came home when they were almost 4 years old. And I realized, like, my husband, his inkling to want to homeschool was absolutely true because we needed to learn how to be a family, and we needed to learn I needed to learn how to be a mom, and they needed to learn how to be kids and not go back into an institution. Right. It was a really obvious choice for us at that point in time. And I was like, okay, I want to homeschool. And I was like 100% on board. But of course I went and I set it up just like my traditional school. And I had all the workbooks and the textbooks, and we did worksheets and all that thing. And so we did the traditional way of but at home, homeschooling for 4 years. And what I started noticing was that it became a battle. And so this idea of it helping our relationship and helping this bonding and attachment and all these things that we needed to have happen, it was actually getting in the way. And it was really hard. And it was like me against the kids and the kids against me. And it was just breaking my heart. And I'm like, and we weren't retaining things, and things just, I felt that too. Yeah. It was horrible. And I was dreading doing school. And I knew we needed something different. And God put people in my life at that time, and it's amazing. And Tanya Hood, you're on this call, and I love you, girl. That's so fun. So her husband, I didn't even know Tanya yet. She's one of my very best friends now, but her husband was teaching my girls Sunday school, and he was like, hey, your girls said that they're homeschooled. And he's, do you guys do Charlotte Mason? And I was like, no, but we're looking for something different. I don't even know who that is, but I want to look into it. And then I started like looking at what she wrote, and I was like, oh my goodness, this woman was amazing. And she just spoke to my educator heart, but she spoke to like my mom heart. And I was like, this is what I want for my kids. I want them to grow like a whole kit, like the spirit and the heart, and not just in knowledge, where that's the philosophy I came from, was know the knowledge and then you'll get better. And so anyway, after that, I was like, okay, I want to pursue this, but it's so different than traditional school. And I was so scared to do it. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And thankfully, there was a convention that Julie was going to be at in Austin and Round Rock. And I went there and I went to all your classes and I sat in your booth for probably an hour, like looking through the material. And I'm like, okay. And I go to my husband and I'm like, I think this is the direction we need to go, but I'm really scared. And he looked at me and he was like, Dana, let's do it. Do it for a year. And if it doesn't work, we've just lost a year. And he said, we haven't really lost it because they're going to learn something. But I'm like, okay. So it gave me the confidence.
You have a
like,
very good husband, Dana. That's very supportive.
I know, it's really great. And I was like, and I'm so blessed by that. And so it was like, it gave me the confidence that I needed though to jump in. And so we jumped in and it was just like, and things took off and the battle stopped. And not that my kids are like, woohoo, school, but they love reading and they love reading good books and they love the discussions. And it's just a world of difference. And like the atmosphere of our home has changed. I feel like Charlotte Mason's changed me more than anything else because I'm like,
absolutely 100%. Yep.
because like I'm a better mom because of it. And my kids are benefiting from that because of the atmosphere of our home has changed. We are getting those habits in. It's hard, but it's happening and it's just so good. And they're making connections that they weren't making before. They're learning like a deeper kind of learning. I'm not telling them what they need to exactly learn. And our exams are now it's so wonderful. Instead of my kids failing these exams or not getting it, it's like they get to tell me what they like and what they know and what they remember. And it's not this, oh, you didn't know all these other things. So you obviously didn't learn. And they get to tell me what they learned. And it's so good because my girls, since then, we have found out that they're pretty profoundly dyslexic, dysgraphia. We've got dyscalculia. We got all that and auditory learning disabilities. And so we've got a lot of things that we're struggling with, but they're able to tell me what they know and they're excited about that. And it's so good for their confidence because we need to build that up. And so it's just been really great. So we tweak and we do different things, but A Gentle Feast has really been like the backbone and the groundwork, and it helps us along and it helps me be able to do it. So it's been great.
Oh my gosh, Dana, thank you so much. Everyone is thanking you in the chat for sharing. You're just have such a wonderful heart. And I just love that even though your kids may have these special gifts, right? And opportunities to grow. And the fact that, did you mention that they were adopted?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure people got that, like that you were working on this attachment with them and all these things. And that this allows that to happen and allows them to shine and build confidence in what they are good at. And we're talking about like the role of the teacher and the role of the student. And so Dana and I'm just gonna share the story. So Dana and I were in the same math class in 8th grade, and we were like in this advanced algebra class where you basically had to teach yourself algebra and it was self-paced. And then as fast as you could go, you could keep going. Why anyone thought that was a good idea? Again, the traditional school mindset, they love to experiment on children because the way publishing companies make money is by changing what they're doing every 5 years. And so we were in this like experimental math class. And one day my teacher said to me, Julie, do you think you're stupid? And I was like, I don't think so. Like I just had asked her a question because I really didn't understand it. I was still trying to figure out. And that experience like affected my view of myself as a learner in math till I was 40 something years old. And we have such a gift that we're giving our children in the power of the words that we're saying to them and then building their confidence. If I could have gone into that math class, like you're saying, Dana, and be like, this is what I know. I know these things. And then the teacher was like, oh, wow, you know those things. That's fantastic. And then I could build upon that rather than constantly every day being shown all the things I don't know. Like that would have been so life-changing, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to give that gift, and you are giving that gift to your kids. That's so huge and will definitely change them as people. Thank you so much for sharing. You are amazing. And yes, I'm so grateful. Yes, I love hearing everybody's stories. It's so neat. And again, like everyone, and I hope that this is why I wanted people to come on and talk, because everybody's path doesn't look the same. Some people, like Jamie yesterday, just jumped dived into the deep end. We're doing it all, and here we go. I'm throwing all this away, and we're doing this. And then like Tammy and Stephanie today were like, we're just gonna start small, and we're gonna work our way in, and we're gonna do these few little subjects and see how it goes, and go from there. And then hearing Dana's story of I was a teacher. And it's in the Facebook group. Jamie and Tammy both put, I don't know if you saw this, that their reoccurring stress stream is that they have to go to class and they don't know what's on the class or something like that. That is literally my stress stream too. Like when I am stressed, I have this nightmare. I'm in college and I get to the exam and I don't know what's on the test. Like, do you realize how much that affects you? That is still at 47 in my nervous system, that I'm in college and I'm taking a test and I don't know it, the stress of not knowing something. And it didn't even occur to me until they put that in the Facebook group of, oh my goodness, wow, that's still so real to me, that is coming out in my like dreams all the time. And I think as us, like as educators, sometimes it can be like almost a hindrance of that mindset is still there. Like this many years later, and I've been doing Charlotte Mason for this many years and teaching it for this many years, and it's subtle how it can still infiltrate us. So thank you so much for sharing. Hey, Jamie.
Hey,
Thank you so much for being willing to talk to us.
absolutely. I just think this has been great. I'm actually on the verge of tears. I'm just
Oh,
so excited just to get, we're at the end of our school year, I think. So it's like a lot of just emotions of ending and ending well. And these are great reminders of where I started 4 years
thank
ago.
you. Yes, that's what I really wanted, because I know there's a lot of people here who have been, okay, I've been walking this gentle path, but girl, it's so easy to like, oh, look over here and what they're doing. And oh, look over here. Then you get off the path and you're in the woods and you're like, can someone tell me how to get back
Bring me
there?
back.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So I'm so glad to hear it's been encouraging. So anyway, I would just love to
Yeah.
hear from you, like just your kids, the ages, but just how your homeschool journey has evolved and what has come into your lives the past
Yes,
several years.
absolutely. Okay, I have three boys, and they are currently 13, 11, and 9. And we just started homeschooling 4 years ago. And I also work full time. So when I say homeschool is a calling for me, there's no doubt to that. I just leaped one day, and it's actually before COVID. So if you do the math, that's like
Yeah.
2020, but that's not the reason we started homeschooling. It was right before that. And I had no idea who Charlotte Mason was.
Yeah.
It was literally a Google search. How how can I homeschool? I needed flexibility. That was my thing. It was my keyword, maybe
Wow.
flexibility
Wow.
in
That's,
homeschool.
yeah.
And it popped, and all the different styles of homeschooling, because I did not know there was another way to learn. So I started reading and was just so intrigued about this learning through living books. And this is someone I would not call myself a reader,
Okay.
because I feel like public school killed my joy of reading. And
Yes.
if you do the math also, my oldest was in public school. So he
Yeah.
went all the way through to fourth grade,
Okay.
and they had something called accelerated reader, but
Yep.
basically
I
you
remember
read a
that.
book
Yep.
and you pick it from the library, and sometimes not the best of topics, but read it from the library, read it, take a test on it the next day. So what happened for him was his reading ability went above his comprehension level. And then he
Mhm.
had failing these tests because he couldn't comprehend what he was reading. It would
Yeah.
kill his reading, was associated with anxiety. So anyway,
Yeah. Huge.
we're home now. We embraced the Charlotte Mason philosophy,
Okay,
and
that's amazing. I did not know that was your story, that you literally found it in a Google search.
yes,
That is
I
so
was
amazing.
I was
You know, back when
camping
I started,
spring break
like
weekend.
there was like Yahoo groups. So like literally I had no clue how to find this stuff or where to get it or how to grow. So I think it's awesome that it's now like available and for everyone. That's so cool. And I love what you said too about it's different when you're pulling your kids out of school for sure, right? And you're taking them from a very traditional to, okay, now we're going to walk down this path. What was that kind of like for you, that transition, if you don't mind talking about it?
I jumped. I just felt there was something in me. I was just ready. I'm like, we're doing this. And that's what I'm so thankful to have found, which I don't want to call a general feast, a curriculum. I have found a partner, I felt, in my child's education, because it provides me with a structure yet flexible. And that
Mhm.
I feel like Charlotte Mason's way of learning is that. Is you take these wonderful books, and you having lesson plan or having a teacher's manual for me with a general feast is great, because I don't have to do anything. I literally buy books, thrift shop my books. And I told you guys I wasn't a reader. I don't know who these authors are. I've never heard of these books. Like I've
Yeah.
never read Little House. I've never.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're just going to dive in and we're going to read these books. I don't know what they are. I don't. And what is this living book idea? I love it. I'm not sure what it is, but it has been so amazing. Over the 4 years, I have children at different ages reading different books, but the ideas that they get, the connections that we all get for reading the same type of topics for the same time period,
Okay.
has the discussions we have has been so amazing to just to watch them grow, to take ownership of that knowledge. The idea of narrating
Yeah.
was completely new to me, so that they can take that. I can have the same kid reading the same book and they both give me different narrations. So it's no longer that this is what you have to know.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I gave them a book
Yeah.
and they read it and they came to me and each one of them took what they needed to know. And if that was a paradigm shift for me, that I'm not having to pour information into them. You have to know this, but they're telling me what they learned and they own that
Yeah.
education. So that was the shift for me to answer your question of going from that typical
Yeah.
homeschool method to them taking ownership and learning what they need to know.
Yes, and that's okay. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about tomorrow, like the role of the teacher and the student and then the work that they're doing. But I love that they're making it their own. They're putting it into their own words and they are able to tell it to you. So then they actually do know it. It's not like they're going to learn it to answer some questions and then they'll forget about it by the end of the week. Okay. Everyone is asking how you are able to work in homeschool.
So the short answer to that is short lessons.
Yes, which is so key, which we're going to talk about tomorrow too, because that is so radically different than like a traditional path. You have the subject for 2 hours a day at some of the high schools around me, the way they structure stuff. And
We've been doing this for 4 years. So it's just my kids have gotten used to, here's what they have a little notebook, here's what you do for the day. And they know, I mean, their language arts is we do this day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they just know what to do. I don't know. I can't explain it. It just happened.
Yeah.
Here, go read these chapters. They do it on their own. I'm not having to stand in front of them and hold their hands. I'm not telling you it's been all easy. Like, because, they have bad days. I have bad days. There's some learning happens all the time, guys. Like it's not just Monday through. That was huge for me.
Absolutely.
Like Monday through Friday, I don't know, 8:30 to 2:30. So when I have my lunch break, hey guys, let's go to the porch and let's read.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm tearing up of all the cycles, all the history books, like current history picture books I'm reading with my younger child.
Yeah.
I'm learning history.
Are you in cycle 4?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. All those World War II books and like.
Yes. And so I just take little moments here and there. Let's go read this book. We read it, audiobooks when they're transitioning between reading on their own to reading to them. That's just, and getting them used to taking ownership of what they're learning. And they're so excited to tell me back what they have learned. That's awesome. Yeah, just short. That's how I do it. We do school on the weekends sometimes. I don't know what to call it school. We learn on the weekends too. We read on the weekends. We read in the evenings. We also have a small hobby farm. I guess we have baby goats being born right now too. So it's a lot of juggling, but they read to the goats.
That's awesome. Do the goats sit on them? Like I've seen that with people, they're on someone's back.
Good yoga. Yes.
Yeah,
All you gotta do is just lay down and they'll jump on you.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. But they're learning so much, I bet, from taking care of all those animals. I didn't know you had animals. That is so fun. That's great. Yes, because it's not like you can only learn if you're reading this book and looking at this page. No, like learning, I'm out here doing these things, which are such more valuable lessons, and taking care of an actual living creature that is so valuable. Do you have any closing thoughts or words of encouragement for parents on making that leap, as you call it, from the traditional path to the gentle path?
Just do it. I don't know.
Like Nike, right?
Yes, that's right. There is a stirring inside of me. And so some of you on here may be just, you're interested in this, you're just getting started, but you just know there's something different out there. I had no idea the beauty that there was going to be with learning with my children through the living books, through this idea of them obtaining knowledge. And I got to know my kids again. I got to have them back, if that makes sense. They weren't even if you're doing, I think, maybe a traditional homeschool, even if they weren't in public, they were in front of workbooks, checking the box, but getting them, that has just been so encouraging for me to see my kids grow on who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back with zero regrets.
Yeah, that's what you're going to look back on again, having adult children now. I can say that it's those relationships and all those memories and all those books and all those ideas and all those discussions. And like that relationship doesn't change. Like that will still be there when they're grown and they're calling you on the phone. And my daughter will be like, Mom,
Yes.
I just read this book, and she wants to narrate it to tell me about it. And I'm like, cool is that? Like a 20-something-year-old wants to tell me about the book they're reading. And it becomes part of your life and your family culture, which is so cool. So
yeah, and I have one more thing I want to comment on. You mentioned in the class earlier, I also feel like I've healed that child from public school, the education. I wrote it down where I listened to the podcast that you had about my love of learning had died.
Yeah.
As I'm healing my relationship with knowledge or learning, I'm not sure how you put it. For me, not just my children, learning, I'm becoming a lifelong learner, and I think that sets an example for them.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And my dad, who's 80 years old, who's a history buff, and I had no idea. I call him. I'm like, hey, I'm learning about the Cold War. Can you tell me about? And he's like, I'm not that old. And then we get into civil rights, and we're in Birmingham, Alabama. But just say my dad too, just getting to where he can share his history with me and the love of history that's been a blessing too. Just conversations with people that I've never would have had before had I not taken on this love of learning with my kids.
Yeah, and I thank you so much for bringing that up, because I think that's so key, is just how valuable it is for us as humans. Because this is how all humans learn, and this is how we actually really do grow. And so it doesn't matter if you are 7 or 47, this will grow and change you at the same time as growing and changing your kids. And that's just such a beautiful thing. So thank you for making that comment. I really appreciate it. And thank you for talking to us. It's so good to see you. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
So can you tell us about your family and your kids? And I know you, like their ages and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have 7 kids, 21 all the way down to 5, and we have always homeschooled. So my son is 21 and he graduated a couple years ago, and my second graduates in a week and a half. So super exciting, super busy time with all the
graduations. Oh my gosh, I know, right?
Yeah. And so next year for school, I'll have a junior, an 8th grader, a 6th grader, a 3rd grader, and a fresh kindergartner. Wow. So next year, all the forms.
You are amazing. So I've always homeschooled. What has like your journey been like? Did you follow a more of a traditional path, or have you always done Charlotte Mason?
So my first year or two, I really got stuck in the rut of school at home looked like school, just in a different location. And we had a schoolroom, and we had a globe, and we had a thing of pencils and a flag and an apple on my desk. And because I thought that's what it had to be, and that's what I was chasing. And then somewhere along the lines, and I really don't remember when, I learned about Charlotte Mason, but I had a lot of misunderstandings about what Charlotte Mason education was. And so being a more relaxed person, I thought if I shoot for classical education, then maybe I'll land at Charlotte Mason, because I incorrectly thought.
I've actually heard that before.
Yeah, that's what I've always told people, because I just always thought like Charlotte Mason's just gentle classical education. And come to find out so many years into it now, a few years ago, I learned they're totally different. Like they're not even the same thing, except for they're both educational philosophies, but they're very different. Yeah. And so we did classical education for a couple of years, and then I slowly tiptoed my way into the Charlotte Mason world. And now where we're at now, that we're finishing our 7th year with a gentle feast. If anybody else has been around that long,
I say you're the OG girl. You're the OG.
Yeah. 7th year with the gentle feast. So moving into our 8th year, which is just amazing. And I used to be what I would call a curriculum jumper. I would use something for a year at best, sometimes a semester, and I would go, oh, I don't like this anymore. I don't like this anymore. And so I feel like I've used everything. And so for me to be at a place where I've used one thing for that long is like huge.
So you mentioned like tiptoeing into Charlotte Mason, which is so cool because it's been so neat having all of you guys on this week to hear different people's stories. And so then there's like people that are like, I just took the big leap and I just jumped all in and we're doing everything here. And then there's like, I like tiptoe. What did that tiptoeing look like for you? Can be a little bit more specific there?
Yeah, so the year that we transitioned from what we were using to using a gentle feast, I had spent a ton of my husband's money on this one particular curriculum, which I will not name. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is it. This is the one, honey. This is the one we're going to use for all of the kids' education. It's perfect, is exactly what I'm looking for. And then I got about a quarter of the way into the school year and went, this is horrible and not at all like what I thought. It was supposed to have the kids at different levels learning the same things. And I loved that family cohesion that it was supposed to provide, except for that was not there. And it was tons of worksheets, all of these ongoing projects that were supposed to last for years. And my brain was like, no, this is not even close to what I thought it was. And so I essentially put a Charlotte Mason spin on that book list because I had already spent all this money. So I spent a whole lot of money for a book list and spent the next 3/4 of our school year reading. Most of them were good living books, but I threw a couple out. I took a Charlotte Mason bent on that and I started using narration, oral. It was all oral narration at that time because of the ages of my children. And it just made a huge difference. From my perspective, I watched myself have peace about homeschool. I watched myself wake up in the morning excited about not only reading to my children, but hearing back from them what it was that was connecting with their hearts. And I felt like that next school year, so those next 3/4, if you will, we weren't doing terms yet. Now we do terms, but those next 3/4 of their education, I just felt like I knew my children better than I had known them prior to that. And that was one of the main reasons we homeschooled, was because we wanted to create a family culture where we knew each other and we spent time together and we feasted on beautiful things. And so coming to Charlotte Mason and eventually coming to a gentle feast allowed that with such ease. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. A gentle feast was a balm to my very weary mother soul. So yeah, we don't do everything that you have planned because I just couldn't with that many kids. But that's one of the things I appreciate about a gentle feast. It is so flexible and it's so easy to go, you know what? We're not doing that. Or you know what? I'm going to put both of you guys together for history because one's in this form and one's in that form. And I would rather manage one history than 4 or whatever. It is one of the most flexible and forgiving curriculums I think that I've ever used.
Oh, I really appreciate you saying that because that was my heart when I made it.
Yes. It's been life-giving. It's truly been life-giving to me and to my family.
Yeah, and I really want people to hear this because I love that you didn't just be like, I bought all this stuff and now it's not working. And so I'm just going to put it on a shelf and go do something else. I tell people that all the time. Don't buy a gentle feast if you already have something. You can take what you already have and try to use it with Charlotte Mason's principles instead of if you already have this language arts thing that's taking 45 minutes to do, that's way too long. So maybe only do it for 15 minutes. Obviously, you're not going to do everything they have, but you probably shouldn't be anyway, right? Oh, I use the word should. It's not beneficial to do it all anyway. So just do the 15 minutes, focus on the key things and trust that your child is getting enough there. Or take, like what you're saying, take some great books, go get some great books from the library, read them, ask your child, tell me what this was about, or maybe even just do one page. Tell me what this was about, have a discussion about it. And so if people are on this call and you're new to this, like over the summer, go get some books from the library, read them and talk about them and see if that makes a difference. See if you and your family like this approach before you like jump in and buy stuff. So I even have a summer morning time, which I actually is so precious because it's like nature-based, that has a great book list in the back that you could get and just start morning time. Like basically what that is, if you're not familiar, like we have songs and art and music and beautiful things for them to fill their minds with. And summer's the great time to try that and to see, is this a balm for my soul? Is this something that I want to keep going into before you make the leap? So I love that like idea of tiptoeing. I think that can be really wise. So since you are going on year 8,
yes,
you will have been through all the cycles. So I think you'd be great to just share real fast, like, what did that mean? What are the cycles that a gentle feast is set up in most Charlotte Mason, because that's how her programs were organized. And then what have you seen as the benefit of doing history that way?
Okay, so the cycle 1, 2, 3, 4 are their history-based cycles. Charlotte Mason felt like kids should know the history of their own country before they learn the history of other countries. And so first through third grade only uses American history. It's all American history based, unless you're in Canada, and then it's Canadian history based. And then in fourth grade, a Gentle Feast adds a stream of world or British history. And then in fifth grade, it adds an ancient history stream. And if you're new to Charlotte Mason, new to A Gentle Feast, that you're like, what? We're doing 3 history streams? That seems crazy. Shouldn't we stretch the hit? No, your kid can totally handle it. It is beautiful to see American history and world or British history lined up side by side as they go throughout history.
That
So
is
they
like literally been my favorite part. I was
it's
like,
amazing. Like this.
wait, George Washington and Mozart lived at the same time? I had no
Right.
idea.
Yes, absolutely. And to see like how the different things in like how America was impacted by different things, like how did World War II impact America? And just seeing those side by side is just beautiful. And it's brought up a lot of conversations, and I really feel like it's helped to develop our kids into citizens that realize that they're part of a globe and not just part of an America.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they realize that the world is much bigger than we're in Indiana, their little town in Indiana. And that also that what we do as individuals really does have this ripple effect. It really does affect more than just ourselves. And that you can go lots of directions with that idea, but yeah.
So now so you went through cycles 1, 2, 3, 4, and now you did cycles 1, 2, 3. I don't even know what you're on, but so what happens then when your kids are older? Can you talk about that? And so you studied let's just pick one, early explorers, right?
Sure.
Early Native American history. And then 4 years later, you did it again. Again, they're older, so they're doing totally different books here. It's not like they're doing the same exact thing. But what was the benefit of studying that same time period again?
So I think the real benefit is those harder concepts and those harder subject areas. Because if you're talking about early Native Americans, let's face it, they went through some tough stuff at the hands of some people that we've lauded as heroes, right? So I feel like the kids having experienced that at a younger age and then coming back to that again and hearing it again and being able to see a different person's perspective on that helps them to have a balanced view of those things that are within our own history. Some of those people and places and things that they're exposed to early, they don't have all the details, but then later on, those details are fleshed in, and it just expands their thoughts about that particular subject area. So I think that has been really beneficial for our kids.
Yeah, it's one of the things I really love. And I just think it was so wise because it's not like you're going to learn this one time and then we're never going to talk about it ever again. Rather than it's like, we're learning about this, we're laying this kind of foundation. And when they're younger, again, like you're reading picture books and they're just getting their imaginations filled with stories and ideas of these people and places. Older, and they already have that background information and it's in their minds. Because again, it wasn't like recall where they learned it for a test and then they forgot. Through narration is part of them. It's part of their brain substance when you can go back and you can add on more difficult material, more in-depth information. They have something to actually hang that onto, which has just been so cool. Like when we did our island story, my kids thought this story about like William the Conqueror and how he had the stomach thing and he like blew up the coffin. Do you remember the story? Anyway, they thought it was hilarious. We still talk about it. Like we acted it out. We all got in a blanket and it blew up and it was so funny. But like my one daughter is taking an AP Euro class this year. And so when we got to William the Conqueror, she was so excited to share with like her high school friend. She goes, oh my gosh, I know the coolest story about him. And they were all like, how do you know this? AP textbook or whatever. But it was like, she had that in the background of her mind from, I think she was 6 when we did that story. And now she's like actually learning about the feudal system and like how France coming over to England totally changed the country and like all the heavy stuff, like a college level, she can a college level class, but like now she has something to connect that to in a person. And I love that's the way Charlotte Mason built that up.
Charlotte Mason talks about that science of relations and letting your kid connect all of those things together. And I feel in those early years, they're connecting those things together. And then in maybe the end of Form 3 and then Form 4, they're all connected. And now they're just settling in deeper and deeper. And it's just beautiful to see your kids develop that way.
Yeah. And I love too that in this, I'd love for you to touch on this with your kids and the age spread there of just studying the same time period together.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love to watch my younger kids who are so excited about learning about Christopher Columbus or learning about American Revolutionary War, and then having those conversations with the older kids. And then my older kids are able to go, oh yeah, but did XYZ about that particular no, I didn't know that. Yeah, wait till you read such and such book, and then you'll get to learn more about that. And so it has helped, like I said before, it's helped just create this family culture around education, because education is a life. And so that's what A Gentle Feast helps us to provide, is a life of education for our kids, an environment of education for our kids, so that all of school, all of life is school, all of life is learning, and creating them into lifelong learners where they can see, oh, I have something valuable to contribute to this conversation because I've read about this before.
Yes, and even the little ones, like I would be teaching or having a discussion with some of my older kids, and they would walk by and they would hear that name and they'd be like, I know who Phyllis Wheatley is.
Yep.
And they would come and join the conversation. Oh, listen to me. Like,
yeah.
I have something to contribute too. And it just goes back to the valuing each child as a person. And what you have to share is important, even if we're reading these really hard level high school textbooks talking about her, and then we're this cute little picture book. But what you have to say is important, and we want to hear you too, which is so cool.
Even beyond, we've talked a lot about the history aspect of A Gentle Feast, but even going to the morning time and having my younger kids memorizing poems that my older kids already have sitting in their hearts. Cute. And my little boy will come up and he's like, Mud, it's sticky on my feet. And then my older kids giggle and laugh and finish the poem with him. And then boom, they're connected together, a 6-year-old and a 17-year-old. Yeah. So it's just sweet. And sharing art together with the artist studies and seeing those different prints and recognizing who oh yeah, I remember when we studied Picasso or whatever. Yeah. So it's just a joy.
That's so fun. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, please heart it down below and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment and let me know what you learned in today's episode. I'd love to hear from you.